go anywhere.
GrosvenorCasinos.com sponsors Sky Sports News.
This is Sky Sports News. After 3 consecutive second-place finishes, Arsenal have clinched the title after Manchester City drew at Bournemouth. Beaten Burnley on the Monday Night Football, Arsenal players were watching at their training ground, London Colney, near St Albans, and these the scenes as they celebrated clinching the title. And for Mikel Arteta, having gone 8th, 5th, second, at the 6th time of asking for the Arsenal manager. And there you can see absolute scenes. Just didn't need to go to the final day. And they're so relieved, you would imagine, that they've done it before Super Sunday. Arsenal fans at the famous Tollington near the Emirates Stadium celebrated the club's 14th league title. And again, beer flowing everywhere, camera phones out, everyone just living the moment.
They've certainly showed they've got bottle. They've showed a lot of character, resilience. It hasn't always been pretty, but they've shown they're winners. They're champions, rightly so. Congratulations to Mikel, the team, the fans, the staff, all the people behind the scenes. They've been the best side this year. You know, they have been the best side, and it's been really tough for them for the last few years. Pep, their nemesis, every single time. He's just found a way to pip them. This year, they've found their way. And it's an amazing achievement. I'm pleased for the club, for Mikel, because, as I say, it's been hard. He's took a lot of criticism. Can he get his team over the line?
And this is his childhood friend, Andoni Iraola, whose team...
Listen, if he doesn't get a lovely crate of Rioja right now, I'll be amazed, Kelly. You know, it's a big thank you to his mate.
And Alan Smith, who won it twice with Arsenal, is with us here in the studio. Golden Boot winner, both of those seasons. What does it mean to watch Arsenal do this after 22 years?
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it? In a way, it doesn't feel like it because the Arsene Wenger years still feel fairly close when they won it. But brilliant, fully deserved of it. Obviously, they've had the moments in the last few seasons where they've come second. But they've been, you know, you deserve to win it if you finish top. Yeah. They've had the best defence. They haven't had the best attack. You'd probably say City have got the best attack. But as an overall unit, you know, Mikel Arteta's done brilliantly well. And, yeah, really pleased for my old club.
Not quite the excitement of 89, but the players, the manager, they won't care a less, will they?
No, I mean, in 91, we won it with 1 game to go, and then we played Man United and then Coventry, actually. We had 2 games to go. So it's always nice. I was worried about that game at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Everyone said, oh, you know, they've got a European final 3 days after. I thought, no, you don't need to be getting something from there. So, pleased.
Yeah. It's such an interesting season for Arsenal. They start off, everybody's got high hopes. They hope that they're going to be able to build on some close finishes in the past. And they had this reputation, I think probably undeserved, because they never really had it in their hands before now. But they had this reputation of maybe bottling it at the difficult moments. Having lost to Manchester City and with City having it in their hands, does this feel like something that Arsenal have overcome, an extra hurdle that they've managed to come back from?
Yeah, they have, haven't they? I mean, there's been some painful moments to watch at times. I mean, I was at the Bournemouth game, actually, just watching, not working, the Bournemouth game at the Emirates when Arsenal was so poor. And at that stage, you thought, oh, no, they're going to mess it up again, you know. But, I mean, the Burnley game as well the other night, God, you're thinking... I mean, there's bound to be nerves after so many years. We had it, I mean, going back to 89, our last 2 home games, we lost to Derby at home, we drew with Wimbledon, last game of the season at home, and we've waved to the fans saying, oh, thanks, but we couldn't quite get over the line. Then we went up to Liverpool. But you're going to have nervy moments when you haven't won it for that long, and they have had them. But, you know, hopefully now, moving forward, they can play with freedom, add to the squad. Champions League final coming up. Who knows now? That feels a bit easier now, doesn't it? Not easier against PSG.
It's been a more relaxed competition for Arsenal this season, strangely, because for many players it is the absolute pinnacle. But the pressure has been off in that.
Yeah, they've had some really good performances, haven't they? Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, you know, really scored goals, opened up. And so that's going to be mouth-watering. But
it's a free hit, isn't it?
It's a free hit. But to do this, you know, this season, yeah, I'm
Did you believe that they could do it when they lost to Man City at the Etihad?
I always thought it'd be close because it wasn't a bad performance, Michael, was it, at City? And they came out and they gave it a good shot. But they've got this great ability to keep a clean sheet and nick a goal. Bit of the old 1-0 to the Arsenal coming back, but he's a fine coach. Sometimes you want him to just be a bit more expansive, but it's a means to an end. It's done the trick.
On Arteta, there were maybe not questions being asked of him, but there certainly would have been if they hadn't got over the line this season. But he's been adamant, and the word from the club has been that he's been building. Each season has been an improvement on the one before.
Yeah.
That this was coming at some stage. Did you feel that? Did you feel that confidence, and did you see that progress under Arteta?
Yeah, I did. It was just whether they could hold the nerve when City are breathing down their necks, and whether they would, crumble and not perform. So they have been getting better. They added to the squad last summer. Gyökeres has scored his goals. He probably hasn't convinced fully as an Arsenal centre-forward, but he's notched some important ones. We've spoken about the depth of squad all season, and they have had injuries. They've been able to fill in for those injuries. And that squad strength, I think, has really helped them and maybe got them over the line.
Declan Rice has been reacting on social media, celebrating with his teammates. I told you all, it's done. Well, let's go live now to hear from the Manchester City manager, Pep Guardiola, speaking after the game.
Arsenal, Mikel, staff, backroom staff, fans for this Premier League well deserved. At the same time, for my manager career, one of the years that we fought the more with incredible things that we could not control, and we were there, never give up. I would have loved to have in the last moment, to try. Of course, it wasn't in our hands, but today the fatigue was there. So 12 days to prepare that game. They played for the qualification for the Champions. Extraordinary team, incredible, well managed. And 3 days, Brentford, Crystal Palace today. The brilliance of the players, we miss it. Our impact for the fresh players was not good enough. For the players come from the bench. We broke the team, the tempo that we have. We want to play a lot of short passes to don't make a lot of transitions against Bournemouth. This is so difficult. That's why Kova, Rodri, Bernardo, and the players inside to make short passes. I think we've been really good. For nothing, we couldn't concede. We had our chance in the second half with Nico. And the linesman, how quick make the action. So 1 against 1 from Merlin. Should be good to see. He's on side, offside, wait, and he didn't do it. But we fought incredible a lot, and prepare next season.
Are you still going to be in charge?
Listen, with the club always I talk, but not now. 3-4 seasons ago, when it was 1 year left, or we didn't extend on that. Because the first you have to understand, you should talk with my chairman first, right? And after that, when I talk with my chairman, so we decide to have 1 more year. We talk everything, and we will decide.
Do you know when that's likely to be? Will that be after Sunday that you'll speak to the chairman?
No, we talk next these days. Yeah, because I always said that when you are fighting for the titles qualification, the Champions League or Premier Leagues or FA Cups, is you decide for the reason you don't go. In the first moment there is a problem, the players don't follow you anymore, and you have to stay there. And always we talk with my chairman, when we talk Pep, what we're going to do. I said, let the season goes, and when it will be over, we'll talk. But I think he deserved, right? When I deserved the first to talk about him, what do you have to do?
You seem very nostalgic over the last few months. You seem quite emotional talking about memories and the things you'll miss about football. Is that the kind of headspace you've been in? Have you been making those decisions and having those thoughts?
No, I've been a top year. I've been a good year, honestly. I've been a good year for many situations that was tough. Playing against an excellent team, but an absolutely excellent team like is Arsenal, the finals for the Champions League. And no, I'm fine. So now is the moment with Ferran, with especially my chairman, to talk, and after that, we'll see what happens.
You've obviously pushed Arsenal to the last week. You've won 2 trophies. It's still a very, very young squad. Do you feel that whoever's in charge next year, the future, with or without you, is still very bright?
I had the feeling that the season always you have to be the fact that the perspective is good. You know, for many years experience from many leagues. Pretend it's done. You have to win in every week and every game and every month. You have to, to win it again. There's nothing for granted. So we have to. Next season we'll be back. The city will be back, and we will try to bring the team in that sense that competing until the end. In the competitions. And sometimes you win. It happened us 2 times. Sometimes you lose in the last moment, and because the opponents are really good, really tough. And this is what you have to try again.
Obviously, there's been a lot of new players over the last 18 months, which you've discussed before. How pleased have you been over the last 2 months with the level of performance and how they're sort of growing together?
Since January was really good. We have a lot of injuries and many things in your control. I learned a lot this season. What you have to do to win. So you have to make a lot of points. You have to win a good advantage. Otherwise, there are circumstances that you cannot control. So we play in many moments with difficulties and never give up, and that's why we are here. I would love to, to arrive until the last moment against Aston Villa at home with a chance, but unfortunately we will not win because today we miss that pace, that situation that is required to play teams like Bournemouth. 70 games unbeaten, 80 games unbeaten is because they are really good side. And 3 days the travel to London, for example, Chelsea was not a brilliant final. It's because you need to be fresh in many things, and our calendar was really tough in this last part of the season.
Pep, you went to the City fans tonight. They obviously love you. They'll be going to the game on Sunday wondering if it is the last time. And what do you say to those City fans tonight?
Let me talk about my chairman. So I know they love me so much. I love you more. So I know that. So it's the best place to be. I love that place. So I adore it. So let me talk about my club, right? So even the people say I talk 1,000 million people in person, and just I was incredible focused on my job. So. And when we are in the competitions, I'm there, I was there, and this is what I have to do.
Great.
Done. Thank you, guys.
So there is Pep Guardiola after his side missed out to Arsenal on the Premier League title. Meanwhile, the other live game tonight involved Chelsea and Spurs, and the result means that the battle to stay in the Premier League will go to the final round of games on Sunday. Chelsea 2-1 winners after Roberto De Zerbi's side failed to get a point. They were 2-0 up, Chelsea, and then Richarlison got one back. But should they lose, West Ham, a win will keep them up. OK, let's get back to the champions, Arsenal. Manchester City's 1-1 draw, enough to clinch the Premier League title for the first time in all of 22 years. What a ride it has been since then.
Poets in the corner, rehearsing their lines. Graffiti eyes, ready in their next masterpiece. A London cafe for the setting. Sounds like the beginning of a big VT. And I'm gonna show you why. The year is 2004, and the Gunners are invincible, undefeated, kings of England. And Arsene Wenger was looking like a man that sold football itself. But here comes the twist. Our empire started to quietly crumble. Arsenal moved into a glorious new stadium, but it came at a cost. So while everyone else was buying superstars, we had to manufacture them. And for a while it was okay. But then came the annual ritual, finish fourth, qualify for the Champions League, and cash in on our star player. That one hurt. But we still had our moments. But the league drought continued. And fans came up with increasingly creative ways to argue outside the stadiums. whatever the weather.
And remember, we mustn't forget that it's been raining.
Eventually, even Wenger's magic formula ran out. And after 22 years, the professor left the building. Cue dramatic silence. Enter Unai Emery.
Hi, I am Unai Emery. How are you?
At first, not bad. Unbeaten run, Europa League final. But the football became chaotic. Big signings underperformed. Results nosedived. So Arsenal tried something risky. They appoint a former captain with one simple message. Trust the process. Slowly, the pieces started fitting together. The Gunners were fast again. We were fearless again, re-energised. Title races returned. Sadly, so did the heartache. But every single setback just seemed to strengthen our resolve. And after 22 years of rebuilding, nearlies, hope, and pain. Can I get a bottle of water, please? I really want to nail this final line. Cheers. Finally, we feel like Arsenal again.
So yes, Arsenal are Premier League champions. That after Manchester City fails to win at Bournemouth, and it is their first top division title since Arsene Wenger and those Invincibles 22 years ago. Amazing scenes in the training ground. And this will delight Arsenal fans. You are in gold, and that is confirmed. Mikel Arteta's side sit top, whatever happens in the final round of games. They simply cannot be caught. And the newly crowned champions of England travel to Crystal Palace on Sunday. As we say, it doesn't really matter what happens in this game. They will get their hands on the Premier League trophy after full time. So all of that will be live on Sky Sports, along with every other Premier League game. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. But let's show you the action from the Vitality Stadium and that 1-1 draw that decided things once and for all. It was a nervy end, though, as Erling Haaland equalised in stoppage time. Less than 5 minutes into this game, Antoine Semenyo come on back for Jeremy Doku to fire the first shot on target. Moments later, Semenyo had the ball in the back of the net, but it was adjudged to be offside. And that was so Bournemouth 1 up. Bournemouth chance posts. And to add to the drama, Erling Haaland then equalised with an absolutely crestfallen. Ultimately, Pep Guardiola couldn't add to the 12 titles that he has won in 17 seasons. Meanwhile, jubilation in North London. The scenes as the referee blew for full time. Arsenal could celebrate their first title in 22 years. Now, it's been some night of absolutely huge sports stories. Southampton have been expelled from the Championship playoffs over the Spygate scandal. Middlesbrough have been reinstated, and as it stands, they will face Hull City in the playoff final this coming Saturday. Southampton, who will appeal the verdict, will also receive a 4-point deduction for next season's championship. Well, the EFL charged Southampton with watching the training sessions of Oxford United and Ipswich Town, in addition to filming Middlesbrough as they prepared for the first leg of their playoff semi-final on the 7th of May. The EFL statement says this: Southampton admitted breaches of regulations requiring clubs to act with the utmost good faith and prohibiting the observation of another club's training session within 72 hours of a scheduled match. The admitted breaches concern fixtures against Oxford United in December 2025, Ipswich Town in April 2026 and Middlesbrough in May 2026. The EFL is now in discussion with all 3 clubs regarding the implications of today's decision and will make a further announcement in due course.
This is the first time anybody has broken Rule 127. We had a situation back in 2019 where Leeds United, Marcelo Bielsa, who was in charge of them at the time, admitted that they had been spying on their opponents. But at that time, there wasn't a regulation specifically prohibiting spying in the EFL's regulations. I wasn't at the hearing today, but I would assume that Southampton went into it thinking that if we admit to this, hold our hands up, say, yes, this has happened, and obviously they've had to hand over evidence to the panel as well, which you would assume incriminated them. They were hoping for a fine or maybe a points deduction next season, but I think they would have been very, very surprised about the fact that they've been expelled from the playoffs. But don't forget, there is still the prospect of an appeal. We know Southampton are going to appeal, so there is still some hope. But also, I think things could get worse for Southampton if the Football Association